So have you ever stitched a little section in the wrong color and then instead of frogging, you just stitch over it again with the right color and hope nobody notices? Yeah, me neither. Hey FlossTube, it's Beth, and I wanted to make another short video, mostly a talking video, so if you're the kind of person who likes to listen to FlossTube videos while you stitch, this might be a good one, and it won't be a really long one either, but thought today I would, well, first talk about why I'm not doing a whole lot of stitching at the moment, and then I was going to do the stitching style tag. We'll go ahead and get started with the why I am not doing much cross stitch at the moment. And it's because I've hit several speed bumps with my whips. Now, the first whip is this, I'm working on this 5 Seasons quilts. This is as far as I've gotten on this, and I've done 3. It's a little rolled up, it's very wide. But my hard stop with this particular project is I don't really like this quilt up here at the top on the end here. I want to change that to a log cabin style quilt, a little more like that quilt. So I'm going to have to figure out what colors I want and get that sort of just that bit recharted. So until I figure that out, I really don't want to do a whole lot more on that particular project. The other, just find a good place to put this where it won't get. The other project that I'm working on right now that I'm also at a hard stop on is this By the Bay needle art, Tidal River, and I've literally just gotten started on this, doing it in hand, and I got as far as starting with this cloud and wanted to do the tree that's underneath it, and I need DMC 580. Guess which one color I don't have anywhere in my DMC collection? It's like I've been through everything, all my other whips, my overflow stuff. I cannot find frickin' DMC 580 anywhere. I'm not that close to a store. It's just the one floss color. It's the one color floss here. And I really don't want to skip around in the chart. I want to go straight down to the tree that's underneath it. So hard stop on that one. And the other whips I have also kind of a similar situation. I've got one that's it's color conversion for Mirabilia, and I'm second guessing where I want to go with it, so it's just kind of sitting there idling. And then the other Mirabilia that I showed in my second video, the unboxing of the kit, Twin Mermaids, haven't even gotten started on that yet because I'm waiting on some scroll bars to, I only do use one type of scroll bar, and the company is not open. They're taking a long winter break. They'll be back around the 1st of February, so I'm just gonna have to wait and cool my heels on that one. So instead of stitching, I'm doing other things. I'm writing, working on my 3rd book, and doing some knitting. I'm destashing a whole bunch of jewelry, beading stuff. So lots of little other things to keep me occupied. But so I'm going to go ahead and start on the stitching style tag now, changing gears. So the first question in the stitching style tag, and I'm sorry, I don't know who, this might be Teresa Little Stitchers. I'm not sure who originally started this, but it's a great tag. I wanted to do it earlier in my videos so people can get to know a little more about me. So the first question is your favorite fabric. My favorite fabric would definitely be any kind of linen, preferably like a 28 count, although I can do 32. This linen, and I wish I knew who made it. This linen that I just did this this little piece on is so soft and flexible, and it makes it really easy to do the sewing style. So this definitely is great linen. And it's funny because I was working on the quilt project, my quilt whip. I stopped working on that to do this all in one go in about 8 days, if that. And then when I went back to the quilting piece, which is this, just on this natural raw linen, this linen feels so stiff. It's like stitching on cardboard. Never again. I'm going to be a lot pickier with my fabrics going forward when I'm choosing them for a project. I want something that's going to be nice and soft and pliable, and yeah. So, sorry, it's a great chart, but this fabric, yeah. Okay, next question, hoop or frame? Frame. Again, I use artisan frames, lock scrolls, love them, never had a problem with them. I prefer with my projects to just put them in there and then not have to mess with them. Leave them alone. They come out in great shape, they're not dirty, I don't need to wash them, I take them to the framer, they look fantastic. So, frame all the way for me. Question 3, do you use a stand or just hold your frame? I do use a stand, and I have the lock scroll frames, and I have a floor stand from the same company, from Artisan Designs, that I've had for 20 years almost. I've moved house probably 15 times in those 20 years easily, and never had a problem with it. It breaks right down, bolts right down, goes anywhere, held up beautifully. So yeah, I really love my Artisan products. So next question, what is your favorite time to stitch? I'd say evenings. I just don't feel the urge until it's getting a little later in the day, around dinner time. I don't stitch too late at night either, because I use an OT light, and that bright white light is supposed to be very bad for triggering insomnia. So I try to just stitch mainly in the evenings, early evenings. Which is probably another reason I don't get a whole lot done. It's only one time of the day that I stitch. Next question, are you a floss licker? No, I use a threader. Okay, do you hoard or buy supplies as needed? I buy supplies as needed, so I don't just go in a store and see pretty fibers or beads and say, oh, I have to have that for, just future. Everything I buy is for a specific project, but I have so many projects that I haven't even started yet that in a way I do have a hoard. And I'll do another video one day showing the stuff that I have kind of sitting that never even got started on. One of these days, show off my so-called hoard, which I'm sure is pathetically tiny compared to a lot of other people's hoards, but hey, it's mine. Hoard your own hoard. Okay, next question, are you a serial starter? Do you have a whip at a time? Oh, serial starter, definitely. I wish I could just work on one thing at a time, but I'm very bad about seeing something, thinking it's the most beautiful chart I've ever seen. I've got to do this now, I get everything I need to do it. I get maybe 50 stitches in, and then something else catches my eye. I'm very ADD, it's interesting for a little bit, and then on to the next thing, So definitely serial starter. But I have been better about finishing things in the past couple of years. Next question, which actually leads into what I just said. Do you have more FFOs or UFOs? Well, right now it's about even. I have done a lot more finishes in the past couple of years, and not just finished them, but gotten them framed and out to their recipients. So to me, that's when something is really complete. I mean, I can hold up this and say, look, see, it's finished, because there's nothing left to stitch on it. I even have a little bird charm, but this isn't done until it is in a presentable state and on somebody's wall. Then it's finished, truly finished. Your definition may differ from mine. That's my definition of finished. Okay, next question, do you watch TV while stitching? No, I do not. I'm not a big TV person at all. Nothing against it, just it's not my thing. But I do upstairs in my stitching room, I have a laptop, and sometimes I can get distracted watching videos on YouTube. I'll think of something I want to look up, or I'll think of a song I want to listen to, and so I'll put it on, and I'll end up watching the video more than I'm watching my stitching. And get really distracted. So that's the answer to that. No TV, but YouTube definitely can be a distraction. Do you mostly stitch alone, or do you ever get together with someone to stitch? I'm always stitching alone, but I wish it weren't so. I'd love to have stitch and bitch friends. Have a get together, or even once a month, even on Skype. That would be wonderful. That's a goal, stitchy goal in 2016, maybe find somebody to stitch with. Okay, next question. Do you like to experiment and alter things with your charts, or do you stitch them just as written? Oh yeah, I'm definitely an experimenter. As mentioned earlier, I want to change that quilting chart and just do a whole different style of quilt. I have other, here, let me just grab this, excuse me. This is a finish that I had a few months ago and got framed, and I still haven't given it to the person I want to give it to, but I made several changes here. One, this is not the fabric they recommended. The fabric was white, and I chose this other sort of bisque color. And the other thing I did, this is the Hurst Mansion in Eureka, California. I think it's in Eureka. It's my favorite Victorian house ever. And when this chart was originally created, the Hurst Mansion was a different color, and they repainted it. And because the chart is really old, and it's from maybe the mid or late 80s. So since then they repainted it, and I was looking at pictures of the Hurst house versus the chart colors, and I said, hey, you know what? It's different paint. I want to stitch the Hurst house as it is now. So I changed the paint, the fabric, I'll get the right word. I changed the floss colors to match the current paint scheme of the Hurst house. Look it up, it's really cool. So anyway, that's an alteration I did. I've done lots of other alterations too. I've changed shapes of faces or mirabilia stitched. I did Queen Mermaid, and I changed her tail shape to make it a little more curvy. So yeah, I'm not afraid to experiment. It's fun. I don't do anything major and bold, but little things. Okay, next question. Do you bobbinate floss? Oh yeah, I love to bobbinate floss. It's fun, it's relaxing. I'll bobbinate yours if you want me to. If you want it bobbinated and can't be bothered to do it, I will. I've already offered to do this for somebody. I meant it. I will do it. Send me your floss. I'll bobbinate it. Can't guarantee I'll do it really fast, but I will do it. It's relaxing and fun for me. Okay, next question. Do you start a project in the middle of the fabric or at the corner? It depends. This I started in the middle. The Tidal River one, I'm starting kind of at the top center. Sometimes I'll start at the top left corner. It really depends on the size of the fabric. And certain, as you know, there's just certain charts that you almost like people. If I'm doing a lady, a mermaid, something like that, I kind of like starting from the top down and kind of making her come to life, so to speak. Other than that, if it's a landscape or a house, something, not a person or a creature, then I'll start just about anywhere. Next question. Do you have a whip rotation? No, not a strict one. I kind of work on projects I feel like working on, unless I have a deadline. I know somebody's birthday is coming up, this has to get done, then I'll focus on that and work on it until it's done and framed. Otherwise, I can put projects down sometimes for years. So the Fairy Flora project I mentioned last time, that was almost 10 years in the making. I'll freely admit my whips take a long, long, long time. There have been times in my life where I've just stopped stitching completely. I know, horror, but I did. Life got in the way, but I always come back to it, no matter what, no matter where I go and what I do. I always come back to my cross stitching, my first and true love. Next question, do you use a timekeeper to keep track of how long it takes you to complete a project? No. That goes nicely with my last answer. I'd get depressed. If I'm so jealous of people who stitch big projects really quickly. I watch these SAL groups and the progress that people make, and it's just like, must be all you do. I don't know. They're fast. I'm not. So no, I don't track time. I don't want to be depressed. Next question, do you like to have a snack or a drink while stitching? I don't eat. I will drink. I love these, not to turn this into some kind of crummy commercial, but I do love the Tervis tumblers. And the other Tervis lovers out there, salute. These are great. Cold drinks cold, warm drinks warm. So I got my Jeanette's Pier in North Carolina. Yay! Magset, represent. All right, and then I added on one more question to this because I thought it was kind of interesting, and this is something I wasn't mindful of for a really, really, really long time, but I've only just realized that I can stitch this way, and that is the method of stitching. Are you a sew method or are you a stabber? So those of you who, I don't think I need to do a tutorial or a demonstration. We know the difference, sew versus stab. I was a stabber for years and years and years and years, and it was really, again, this project, because this fabric was so soft and pliable and I did it in hand, I realized, hey, you know what, sewing method's actually not that hard, and things went so much faster when I did the sewing method. So now I want to try to do that for my in-hand projects as much as I can. Of course, the ones on the big ones on the scroll frame, I'm not going to be able to do that, but the little guys in hand, sewing is great. So I'd love to know what other people think about sew versus stab method. And I'd also like, if you have any links to people who are stitching with the sew method versus stab, that would be really cool to see too. I like to see videos of people stitching, so please link me up. And also thank you for subscribing, for watching, for commenting. This is fantastic. So far I'm having a great time on FlossTube. It's really good to see other people's videos too, and look at all your hauls and your whips and your progress. And so it's a great community. Great to have found you. And I'm going to close the video on that happy note. So I hope everyone's having a great weekend, and I will catch you all on FlossTube sometime very soon.